An amazing video drop because I have just been channeling all day, and I'm passionate about helping women to, instead of having the running experience, to have your masculine run towards you, because I experienced both of those scenarios, and having your masculine run towards you is so much sexier. It's so much better, and it tells your self-worth, like, yes, you deserve it, you can have it, you are it. When we have our masculine running away from us, no matter how much inner work we do, it sucks. It sucks to have that experience. So you don't have to have that, and there are things you can do. And I'm going to share some of these things at the end of this video, including one of my favorite ways to magnetize an amazing divine masculine partner. So first, I'm going to cover the 3 top reasons why the masculine runs, so that you can know how to get out of it, how to not judge yourself. First of all, I'm Dr. Amanda Noelle. If you haven't been following me, thank you for being here. Probably some of you have been here for some time. I'm so excited to be dropping this video about twin flames. I also drop videos about the divine feminine. Of course, anything related to twin flames, including healing yourself so you can be your best self, call in your divine partner. I'm doing a chakra series right now, so make sure you hit the notification bell to join me. We're on the 30-day video challenge right now. My husband and I are doing videos until the full moon. So thanks for being here. All right, so I know how frustrating it is. It's so painful. I chased men around the world, not just my twin flame counterfeit that I was so sure was the real deal, but for years I chased the masculine, and I was also chased, and I would run as well. I didn't really think about that. I'm like, oh, it's just some guy chasing me, or I'm just not that into him, which was part of my healing. To really, later on when I was with my twin flame, I was like, oh my gosh, I always thought I was being abandoned, but there were many times I also did it with men, that men in the masculine were mirroring my own avoidant patterns that were showing up to be with me, and I just wasn't interested, or I wasn't available. But that's another conversation. I know how frustrating it is. For me, the heaviest, worst thing is when I put my heart on the platter and say flew from California to Italy and was like, I'm ready to be with you, Andrea. You're so wonderful. You told me to come back to Italy. You want to be with me. And woo, you stand me up at the bar. That was my experience in my 20s. Or I am going to move in with you. We're going to make a baby together, get married. And instead of doing that, he leaves me on a hospital bed and says, you know what, this is too much. I think we should break up. And we're not actually twin flames after all, even though he said we were. At least he said we were soulmates. So I've had to sew myself back, like my psychic sutures through my auric field. I've had to put myself together before. And the way that I got to be with my incredible twin flame, the ultimate soulmate of soulmates, my husband Jack, isn't through any one quick fix. But what I'm going to share with you today will help you to understand the masculine in his mind and his operating systems, so that you're not lost at sea and trying to figure it out, and that you're not trying to operate with your feminine operating system. By the way, this video is especially for you if you are more feminine. I am actually an incredibly divine feminine person. I tried to be masculine. I have a masculine. I'm a Capricorn. I like structures and systems. But if you are here and you have a very feminine, vulnerable heart, this video is really going to rock your field if you're open to changing. So let's dive deep into the psyche of the masculine. Here's what you need to know: the 3 reasons why he's actually, this should say, running away. Reason 1 is mother wounds. This is so important. And I've talked about this in a couple of other videos, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's huge. We come from mother. We physically were part of her. So our grandmother had the egg of the mother, who had the DNA that held the guy that's running from you. So the guy that's running from you is so connected to this lineage of women. It's a multi-generational chain that all started at the womb. It all started at the womb. And the womb represents the divine feminine, the aspect of nurturing, care, healing, support, and this could all go wrong. This energy could be very out of balance. And if you're in a twin flame path, you'll need a twin flame who has healed his mother wounds. for it to sustain. Now you can have a few little scar tissues or issues, but if he has not even cracked away at his mother wounds, then wow, that's not someone that I would want to be with, because if they're just starting off at square one, it's a lot of work. But, maybe you have a lot of mother and father wounds, and maybe you healed together and your paths work well. For me, that was not the case. I had to do a lot of mother wounds and father wounds healing in order for me to be ready to be with my twin. And he was the same way. And we'd worked with our coaches, our relationship coaches, are what got us together, our therapists, our guys. We'd done personal development programs. We'd traveled all over the country, going to healing events and festivals and business events that were conscious. And we had addressed a lot of the root chakra, the family imprints. And I have a video about twin flame healing the root chakra that I shot yesterday. So check it out. The mother is like the birthing center of our twin flame relationship. So I'm going to talk about mother wounds, and I'm going to break it down. So smother wounds. It's a play on words, smother wounds. But the masculines, the divine masculine, his worst fear is the fear of being engorged, of being smothered, of being emotionally clobbered, gooed, slimed. Like when he was in the womb and he got suddenly too big, and he was like, I want to get out of here. Can you imagine when we were babies, male, female, doesn't matter, when we were little babies and we're like at that tipping point, and then all of a sudden we get this like wonderful oxytocin rush of waves that say it's time to come out, the contractions. So we have this like healthy runner energy that pushes us out into the world. So he might have this instinct to go, wow, it's getting really tight in here, I need to go. So that's healthy. He needs to get out and go into his man cave and go to his men's circles and go chop wood and go rock climbing and go to the gym, beat on some drums, go out into the forest, talk to his dad, whatever it is. Do those things that connect him with his masculinity. But if he has a smother wound, he learned to stay with his mom. This could have happened in the utero, but I'm really talking about when he was child, age 0 to 7, 8. That's kind of our early childhood blueprint. If you've been following me, I talk about how the twin flame love blocks or our early psyches get developed from this age 0 to 7 or 8-ish. And that becomes our framework until we really chip away at it, heal it. And even then we still have this kind of set point that we have to watch out for. So if he has these smother wounds, his operating system was relationship, primary relationship, which was always mom first, physically and then emotionally. Relationship with mom equals everything in the world, every relationship, including his relationship with you. So when he experiences your relationship, he experiences it through the lens of how he experienced his relationship with his mother. And if his mother was smothering him, meaning she was using her needs, putting her needs first and saying, I want to hold you, I want to love you. And she had this like codependent energy. This may have happened to her for a reason. Maybe she didn't get enough love. Maybe she was married to a man or never even married. And she had a baby with someone who abandoned her. And she went, you know what? I'm not worried at all about being abandoned. I have this cute baby. I'm just going to get all my needs met from him and all this oxytocin bonding chemicals. And so from day one, this little boy who's now your twin flame, who's running, is this man that has been vampired a little bit from his mom, from women. He's been giving away his energy. And at the same time, and she's been putting her energy on him. If there's a word that's opposite of vampire, I guess it would be smother. She's been smothering her energy, her psychic field, her aura has been pushed into his field. And so his chakras are running his mother's frequency. And he says, well, it's what I've always needed to survive. It's how I feel safe. If I don't do this, I don't know what would happen. I've never experienced anything else, but I hate it. And I hate the feminine and I want to get out of here. So he needs to be sovereign enough. He needs to know how to work his own energy channels to clear out his mother. He needs to, the classic guy with smother wounds is going to go along with what his mother wanted for him energetically, or he's going to be so much like his mother. If she has intimacy fears and she says, my man never stuck around for me, so you're never gonna have a woman that sticks around for you. And she has this witchy energy spell cast on him. then you might be the most amazing woman in the world. You might be his ultimate twin flame. If he doesn't free himself from his mother's spell, if he doesn't step out of his smothering womb of his mother, I don't care if he's age 85, he might still be in there. Then he won't be with you. He will always be with his mother. And this is a psychic thing, so it might not be that obvious, which is why we want to learn to psychically read. We want to have conversations. We can confirm, we can say, something that's been happening has been showing up in our relationship. Like it feels like there's some trust issues or something going on that I want to dive in with you. Like maybe we could explore and see where this is coming from. I want to let you know you have freedom. But we want to dive in on all these levels, including psychic. We got to meditate and clear our own smother wounds. How are you with your mom? Because there might be even a mirror there. If your mom never gave you the full freedom to be who you are, or who projected on you, oh, you're my sweet little girl, you're like this, you're like that, and if you're not like this, I'm going to pull away, then there could be dynamics. So there's so many more. I could go on. I could do a whole video about smother wounds. It's a huge topic, and I've seen it over and over and over and over again in my clients, both male and female, but especially in men. In the men I read, I don't read them so much. I read the women, and I see what the men are operating with, and then we heal through her, and then she shifts, and then he comes around and he's different. And also recently I've been working with some married couples, because the people I work with, the single women, manifest their husband, their twin flame, and then the twin flame has to work through his issues to be in union for a long period of time, and his smother wounds have been coming up a lot lately. So I'm going to then call this messy mama emotional soup, where maybe his mom was emotional. Oh my God, why did your father do this to me? Oh my God, the taxes. I hate this. All the stress of being in a human body. Oh, I'm so anxious. Oh, is the war from 1800 still happening? My DNA is still vibrating at anxiety. And so he's in her womb. Her womb is her sacral chakra, her emotional center. He is flooded with her emotions. He comes out of the womb, and then boom, he's out in the world experiencing life, but he's continually holding on to his mother's energy unless he knows how to cut cords with her and clear. And a lot of men don't, especially if they are healing their mothers. If they have a soul contract, in order for me to be safe, I heal you. In order for me to be happy, I make you happy. So a lot of men are operating from this, and it's a very little boy type of energy, but unfortunately the divine masculine on this planet has not yet risen. The divine feminine is just starting to rise. The men on this planet have not been mature beyond the level of a 7-year-old. And they have been mature on the level of a damaged 7-year-old. And we have to hold them and have compassion for them. They have been through so much trauma, shame, war wounds, abuse, sexual abuse. My husband went to a men's fire ceremony. I forget the name of it. He can tell you about it. But he did this big event, 200 men, drumming around the fire, shedding. It was like this man project something. You might know what I'm talking about. So he's in Austin, Texas, and having this huge breakthrough. And he said, out of this group of 200 men, so many men, I don't want to say the word admitted, they should proudly, express it, because it's so hard to be a survivor of this. They survived sexual abuse from their priest in their church, in their Christian church. He said it was like rampant. And we know how many people in America have been raised Christian, a lot, right? So whether it's Christian or whatever religion or not a religion, but there was a lot of abused little boys. And I was like, what? I always thought women were victims and men were the ones that were the persecutor. No, it's not like that. So I digress a little bit, but the way that this connects with the messy mama emotional soup is that women have been in sexual trauma because we've been the victims of rape for so long. And then our trauma over time, over many generations, has started to flow into the men. And even the men are starting to victimize the more vulnerable younger generations. So a lot of pedophilia happening with kids, which is super sad, and that it became institutionalized in religious groups where there was a predator put in position of power, which unfortunately happens to this day. So let's go on to the next one just for time. Rage against the mom machine. I like playing on words. I'm Pleiadian. So rage against the mom machine. Mama is his everything, his be all end all when he's a baby. He gives her boob, he gives her food, he gives her life, he gives her, if he's laying there and he's uncomfortable, mom is going to be the medicine. And he comes from her body. So her body is his home temple for the first 9 months, and her frequency is heaven. It's heaven on earth. His frequency in utero is 240 beats per second, because that's a pregnant woman's frequency, and he matches that. When he's out of the womb, it's 40 beats per second. He drops from 240 beats to 40 beats. Women, we drop from 240 to just 140. So it goes down, but we're still like pretty good on our own. So men have this trauma, and they're like, why did you kick me out of the womb? And I never get to be a female again. He goes from being in a female thinking, I'm part of this one universe, to, in order for me to ever have you again, I have to be on your boob. I have to be dependent on you. And then he learns, no crying. Big boys don't go to mama at about age, 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on our culture. Don't be a crybaby. Don't go to mama. You need to grow up, be a man, not a mouse. And so he's like, well, mom was home. Mom was everything. And now all of a sudden I'm labeled as a mouse or a little boy or a crybaby, unless I shut off from this need. And then I have to shut off from this need when I'm in my shut off. If all I want is mama, and I can't have her, who am I mad at? Of course, maybe there's anger at dad or at the person telling them you can't be a crybaby. He's probably super angry. Just like, when I have had sugar addiction, I'm like, I hate you, sugar. I hate you, cake. Why is this here? It's like we take it out on whatever the scapegoat feels like. And so his whole life, he builds up this rage against, he can't have his mother. Suddenly you walk into his life. Ooh, you look good, girl. Ooh, I like that dress. That cleavage looks nice. Your hair is so soft, and you smell kind of like mommy to him. You smell like her pheromones. I don't know what that chemistry is. You are like his mom. Your stress hormones, your anxiety. Oh, it's so hot to him because he had a stressful, anxious mom. Oh my God, you have OCD and you arrange your tablecloths and fold them and you clean your house 4 times a week. Mom did that too. That was home. That was comfort. So he's falling in love with you as a mirror to his mother. And then all of a sudden, you do something that pisses him off. You say, you can't be with me. You pull away, or you smother him, or both. And he's like, dude, I am not taking this. I am a man. I'm not a mouse. And he's pissed off at you. And you deserve it, right? And that's the message that a lot of us women feel like it's our faults. We carry that around anyways. So sometimes mom, with that sacral chakra being the womb, she has her tummy is her sacral chakra, her womb. It's where she conceived life. It's a sacred portal. And perhaps she had sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual shame, sexual fear, sexual bisexuality, homosexuality, turn on. And this energy in her womb turned sour. It went from sacred to sour because of some experience or experiences or energies. That was his womb home. That was his temple for the first 9 months. He is engorged in her womb. He's holding the frequency. At the moment of her conception, what was she emotionally feeling? Oh my God, I love your father. He's the divine. Or is this guy going to stick around? I don't know. That moment of conception, the pregnancy is a huge moment, 9 months. And then even beyond the birth, he's connected through her DNA. Her experiences, epigenetics, are passed down multiple generations. Some say just 4, and some say 7. Some say it just keeps going till we heal it. So he's holding on to her drama, her negative experiences, and some men can shut down and ignore it. It skips a couple of generations, and some men are light workers, and it's their karma, whatever it is, and they just receive all of her sexual pain and trauma. And some are not conscious of this, and they could project their sexual pain onto you. The worst example is a man who goes around raping women. My mom was raped. I don't know why I feel angry all the time. I was conceived based on this energy, and it's a rapey energy in my lineage, and I just want to spread my seed in this toxic way. Maybe it's more subtle, like men that they like to get in your heart because they like to get in your pants, and it feels really good to come in, to open you up, baby, to say I'll be there forever, and then run. So that they could then pull away, break your heart, break you open, your womb is open, you've just given everything. and then they cord you like a vampire for the next 5 years. And I have been a victim of that, because you want them so badly. Your heart is so open. Your womb was so unlocked, enlightened by the connection. And then they take both the trauma and the love with them. And they just regurgitate this imprint. It's an unconscious pattern. There's no shame. There's no blame. I mean, kind of like, dude, can you guys wake up now? But also it happens. There's a reason. They went through negative energy fields and they're holding it and they're not conscious of it. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, and they're kind of jumping it into your field if they're not mature. But it's our responsibility and our benefit to say no and to stop sleeping around with men who have this pattern, to become aware of it ourselves. Because if they're not aware of it, guess what? We're not aware of something too. There's always the mirror, as you know. If you've followed me for some time, I talk about the mirror like all day in every video. And the work that I do with my clients and at Aphrodite University too, the mirror is one of the biggest keys that has helped me to go from bad boy syndrome to my benevolent Jesus twin flame lover man. Running away from mommy syndrome is where maybe he's still connected with his mom, but there's a part of his ego, his personality that's just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just done. And so he ran away from his mom at some point emotionally. Maybe he had an avoidant mother. Maybe his mother and him split. Maybe maybe he was adopted, or maybe she went to take a corporate job when he was 7, and then he never really got to reconnect with her because she was so busy and stressed out, and his heart was broken. And so he's carrying around this like, it's not fair what happened. She ran from me, so I'm going to run from her. Or she smothers me, so I'm going to run from her. So he's constantly running away from mommy. And sometimes what happens is he'll run away from like 10 different women. There is always that super good looking alpha male who has like every girl wanting him, and he's running away from all of them. And occasionally he'll pick one for a longer time. But what he's doing is he's courting all of them. And he has this massive mother wound. It's no good for anyone. But she, with her Cinderella thinking and her father wounds, is probably just happy that he's going to call her back next week. Little boy syndrome, codependent. So little boy syndrome is where he is constantly trying to live up to this perfection. I want to be so good for mommy. This usually happens with men whose mothers weren't there, or whose mothers were, maybe they had bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder or narcissism. And he's like, I'm going to fix mommy. I'm going to be good enough for my mommy, so she will give me the love that I need and that I always needed. And he's doing the same thing with his woman. I'm going to be good enough for you. I'm going to be such a good boy. I'm going to leave the toilet seat down. I'm going to just bring you a cup of tea. And he's trying so hard, because if he can make her happy, then he'll therefore be happy, which is codependence, by the way. So little boy syndrome it's going to be this black or white thinking, and he's going to try so hard to please you. And then if you start to show signs of ingratitude or frustration or whatever is going on, and you're not satisfied, you're not fully grateful, or he starts to see through your insecurities. Before, maybe you came off as like this confident mother, and all of a sudden he sees, you have vulnerability, and he can't handle your vulnerability. So then he goes, well, if I can't be perfect for mommy, then she's not my mommy, because my mommy in my mind is this holy mother. And that's how they see it. And they want to keep chasing the mommy that's the unavailable, ideal Mother Mary or whatever it is. Let's do runner reason number 2, which is the father wounds. So distant dad dynamics. So a lot of fathers, and I talked about this in the father wounds video, which I think was really important, and I got some more responses from doing that video. So I'm glad that I dove really deep in the father wounds, and I would recommend you watch that video if this sparks or resonates, or you feel like your twin flame or yourself have father wounds. But the distant dad dynamic is very common in our society, because biologically speaking, you kind of just need to hit a hole in one and then you've won the game. You don't have to play all 18 rounds, right? So we have women that have pretty much been required, in order for humanity to survive, to stick around for a significant amount of time to raise the children. Whereas men can just have a one night stand and go and be done. And it could be a great one night stand, or it could be assault, anywhere in between. So just because someone is a father doesn't mean that they stick around. And so commonly in our society, we've had women be more of the caretakers. Women are closer. We're the wombs. We're closer to that internal energy. And so a lot of the dads out there, they're learning how to father now. They're showing up more and more. They're like, how do I change a diaper? How do I say I love you? And there's some amazing dads out there. And my husband is an amazing dad, and he's learning how to do all these things that his father didn't do. He's like the first one to change a diaper, and the first one to tell his daughter in nonviolent communication, when you said this, it hurt my feelings, and I, like a hug. Our daughter sometimes in her terrible 2s and 3s, it's like, I like you, daddy, when she doesn't get the toy she wants or something. And so, versus a lot of fathers probably in his lineage would walk away and just be like, that's not very nice. Or they'd say, don't yell at me like that. You're being naughty. Go to the naughty corner instead of having these discussions. We do send her to the naughty corner, but that's a side note. Okay, so most dads are at the level of like 4th grade. They have no clue what's happening. And they're trying to father these 7-year-olds in 2nd grade. So superhero soulmate syndrome is where the man represents Superman, right? The father of the family is supposed to be the divine father of all. Everybody's supposed to love him. It's the patriarchy, right? Where everything he does, he's supposed to be right. That's the old paradigm that we're coming out of. And so he grows up with this, I'm a superhero, I'm a Superman, and he wants to be this super dad and this super soulmate and this super male energy. And reality is it's not easy, and life is messy. And so he might leave, he might run when he starts to feel lesser than a man, lesser than the top guy. And so a lot of guys will be looking for these extreme forms of validation. They want to be with that Hollywood looking, porn star looking, bombshell looking, high achieving looking symbol avatar, because they have this addiction to becoming a superhero. They need to be this muscly guy, this guy that has it all, the guy in the suit, the guy with the top job, the top trophy wife. And so they're looking for this like artificial thing, but really they have this superhero syndrome because they've never been validated by dad as a male. They've never been fully loved and held and coached and nurtured by the masculine. And by the way, nurturing is a masculine aspect as well as a feminine aspect. We think of nurturing as just mama, but dad is supposed to sit and talk and coach and guide and listen and let the young boy know how he can be a man and help him find his own way on the path, while also mirroring to him as a confident, healthy father figure. Most of our fathers didn't have that, and most of our boyfriends, lovers, husbands, divine masculines currently don't have that and didn't have that growing up. So dad addictions, he's addicted to the toxic masculine. So, whether it's the porn star or the money or the success or the fame, or maybe he's like avoiding those things. Maybe he's sabotaging. Maybe he could be someone incredible, incredibly successful, incredibly attractive. I was dating this guy that was incredibly attractive and smart and everything. We'd gone to high school together, and we'd been away for 7 years. And I remember I had a huge crush on him in high school, and we ended up playing softball together in my late 20s. And he has this like big beard where like I couldn't see his face. He had long hair. It was like unkempt, and he's wearing like weird dorky clothes. And then eventually I found out he had like major father wounds. But eventually, with my love and support, I became his friend. We ended up like cleaning him up and shaving him up, and he looked really good, and he got a little more muscly playing sports, and I styled him up. And then he met his next girlfriend after me, because that would happen all the time, because I'm a twin flame alchemist and I activate people on their soulmate path. But aside from getting dumped and being sad about that, and it was a good experience, because I saw that a lot of where he was playing small was he had father wounds. He had a father that wasn't around. He lived overseas. He was a workaholic, was a very angry father, and he was trying to avoid being toxic with me. So he pushed me away when I was too emotional. He was like, well, I don't want to get angry at you, so I'm going to push you away. And eventually, when my feelings came up too strongly, my real, true, vulnerable self came out after 6 months. He's like, I'm going to move on to the girl that always got my boyfriends in high school too. Is very weird karma. Of all the women, why Claudia? But anyways, so funny. She was also my arch nemesis on the lacrosse team. And she's a great person. We have just 3 guys that she took. It's like, come on, universe, what are you doing? So dad addictions are where if he has a father that's addicted to this toxic masculine archetype, or he wants to be this superhero dad, he wants to be successful financially, at the top, superhero guy, then he will be a distant dad a lot of the times because he's so busy pursuing those things. And then the little boy in the household, or the little boy inside, is like, why aren't you playing with me? Why aren't you around? Why are you pushing, going? You don't spend time with me. And when you are connecting, you're so energetically out there. You're out at work. You're out at trying to fill in the boxes versus connecting deeply. So the job of the feminine is to teach father how to be more like the divine daughter, to have vulnerability, emotions, intuition, empathy, and care. Runner reason number 2, father wounds. Part of this is avoidant armoring. He might be running, but really, he loves you. He has a lot of amour underneath his armor. Amour, love, right? So he's avoiding the love. Doesn't mean he doesn't love you. Doesn't mean that you're not the right twin flame partner for him. It might be not a fit, maybe not this lifetime, or maybe he's not your real twin flame and you think he is because he's got a lot of the qualities and the energies, but it's a not quite right fit and he's running. Or maybe the love is there and he's just armoring it and it's avoidant. We can't know because until you clear the runner chaser dynamic, we can't know. Is it just the separation phase or is it not a right fit? So that's my specialty as a twin flame alchemist, is I help people get the clarity. Oftentimes they've been in a runner chaser or separation, or things are not grounding in 3D and they are just done with being stuck for years or decades or months in this pain. It's very painful, and that's why I'm still passionate around this work after doing it for already since 2011 is when I launched this Blissness on 11/11/11. I married myself and officially launched Aphrodite's Apprentice as my website. All right. So avoidant armoring is tricky because the armor says, I don't care about you. Nope, no one's here. There's nothing here. I'm running. And it's frustrating because we're like, dude, I love you and I think you love me, but you're not showing me that you love me. Can you put down your shield? But we have to deal with that. And that's where I work with my soulmate clients around healing themselves, because when there's an armor out there, a shield, we have an armor too, and there's a wound inside. So it's always a mirror, but we can't jump into their psyche and try and analyze them too much. I'm just giving you some points, right, for the runner reasons in the divine masculine. My point is, it's such a mirror that even if you're a woman, or even if you consider yourself a divine feminine, you have the divine masculine too, because we have both. And your divine masculine, if you're being run from, is running from itself in this mirror, and there's a reason for it. So his reason is not as important at all as your reason. And that's why my clients work with me on these things like father and mother wounds, early childhood histories, self-worth, heart blocks, energy healing. I mean, a lot of it is kept in the aura and the chakras, clearing even past lives, clearing limiting beliefs. And then all of a sudden we do that, we clear it, and then our armor is gone and we're like, woo, I'm ready to radiate, whether it's him or someone else, and then he comes in or not. And either way, you're fine because you're just radiating amour and no longer armor. I love the wordplay. Okay, twintegrity issues, another wordplay, is a split personality. So dad is supposed to represent stable pillar of the masculine. Mother is in the home, father is in the home. Maybe he goes out, maybe she goes out, but they're this pillar in his life. and they're always coming back, and they're there mostly every day, and they're there to raise him and be the temple of the twin flames for him to rise in his Merkabah, his divine masculine, divine feminine body, mind, and spirit, and connect it all at the heart. But if he has a split in his heart, if father is out there and not coming back, and then he becomes over attached to mother, or he's detached from both of them because maybe neither of them are there. He comes from a broken home or a highly functioning dysfunctional home where they're all going to Harvard or whatever and working their butts off, and they're not really facing their emotional issues and traumas, and it's just a glossy layer covering up all the issues with the fancy, mansion homes. And I've worked with a lot of clients and had a lot of friends who have fancy homes and a lot of wealth, and they are suffering inside. And so there's no judgment, only compassion. And sometimes there's a split in the home, a split in the psyche, and the split personality. When he grows up, he's I'm all in, I want to be with you. Oh God, I don't want to recreate my home dynamic. I don't want to get back into intimacy. I don't want to create a family. I definitely don't want to get you pregnant, because if I get you pregnant, it'll be like when my father got my mother pregnant, and I'm not happy with me. So really it comes down to, a lot of times, I'm not happy in life is his divine masculine message. I'm not happy in life, and therefore I don't want you to be happy, or it's not going to ever happen. So he runs, because that's his imprint. So we want to work on reframing it within ourselves. Runner reason number 3, we're getting to the last one. All right, so heart blocks are huge. And I have a whole training on how to heal heart blocks. Everybody has some heart blocks. And one of the common signs is a fear of opening his heart to you. If he is opening sexually, or he's opening intellectually, or he's opening with his pocketbook, I'll take you out to dinner. Let's talk about my work. Look how big my muscles are. Come over to my nice apartment, my nice luxury view, my home. Let me take you out on Sunday to this cute little restaurant up in the hills. So he might be doing all of this, but then when it comes to actually making that commitment and opening and going deeper, pushing away. He's like, whoa, pushing away. He's scared to open his heart because he has a heart block. He plays games to avoid feeling vulnerable. So maybe he's, hey, let's hang out on Sunday. I want to take you to this really cool bowling alley. I don't know, I'm just making it up. Oh, I got to cancel, overwhelmed with something I got to do Monday at work, a project. Oh, hey, let's hang out on Tuesday. So he's like not in integrity, or he's flirty, and then he's like, oh, I wasn't trying to flirt with you. We were just talking, like I have to be honest. Or you have amazing, juicy, gorgeous intimacy. I'm not really saying intimacy. I'm saying sex, baby. And he, in the morning, tells you, you know what? The reason I don't want to be in a relationship with you is because I just don't think we're a match, because XYZ that I knew all the time we were dating. I got that so much. It was like, after really thinking about it, after getting what I wanted from you, which was to get in your pants, I realized that I don't want to be vulnerable with you because you're not a right fit. I'm like, why didn't you just tell me that before? And we went so deep emotionally all the way leading up to the bedroom. So really, a lot of times guys will attach to the sexual conquistador, I'm checking off my list. I got her, I boned her, because they're scared of feeling vulnerable. And a lot of times they play games. They play games and they court Susan and Lydia and you and Tanya, Tanisha, and they are seeing who will give the highest bid. You can see it on these reality TV shows, but you don't even have to watch. You can just look at your own life. If you're dating multiple people, after a while, you realize a lot of play is happening. A lot of players are happening. So if you're doing this, get out of sleeping around too soon. Get way clear on your self-esteem is a huge one, but I work with my clients. My VIP clients go through my program where they actually marry themselves and they write their own vows. So knowing your own vows to yourself, knowing I'm not going to play with these players. I have better self-worth than that. We work on self-worth, and a lot of it is going to come from the father wound being healed. It's going to come from our third chakra. getting opened up again and healed out. The third chakra is more masculine. It's connected more to the father and our male energy. And the the sacral chakra, sex chakra, is more connected, which is connected to sex, but it's more connected to the mother, to the womb, and to emotions. So he might be more open in his sex play, but actually shut down in his emotions. And he might be more into the masculine aspect of conquering and dividing than he is in actually being in true masculine, divine masculine power, which is to have integrity, communication, to protect and serve the feminine. So we have these little boys that are playing games and avoiding their feelings. And it looks sometimes like, wow, he's so handsome. He's a Brad Pitt, or whoever the latest one is now. You can never match Brad Pitt, right? Even the older one. All right, vulnerability is the medicine and the toxin. So with his heart, vulnerability is the most healing medicine, and it's counterintuitive because it can be scary for him. Very, very scary. It's so scary that it feels like it's totally toxic to him. He's like, I don't want to share. So one of our roles as the feminine is to hold that space of vulnerability and to model to him her vulnerable energy and emotions, and to let him know that it's safe to be vulnerable and to be holding that divine feminine energy space. If you put your hand on his back and melt and let him know it's okay, however he feels, he will open up more. I'll be doing a lot of things on how to get your man to be more vulnerable. I have some really powerful tools that I teach my clients and that I've been using. They're ninja. Ladies, let me tell you, these tools, the divine feminine secrets need to come out now, because it's not rocket science. These secrets have been held for too long. All right, trust issues. Heartbreak leads to trust issues, whether you're masculine, feminine, male, female. Trust issues, if you've been broken hearted, you lose trust in that person, in that type of person, into that type of situation. And I'm going to never love again. I had that experience when I went through my biggest heartbreak, as I was like, I don't know if I can ever love again. And it was really scary. I mean, it was like calling the suicide hotline scary, only because I hadn't slept all night, and it's after like 6 months of not sleeping, you can lose sanity by not having enough sleep. It was very, very traumatic heartbreak experience, and other situations that were wrapped up with my twin flame counterfeit. But it caused me to write in my mind, oh crap, I might never trust again. I might never love again. Men are XYZ. You fill in the blank. You know what I'm talking about. Men are a-holes. Men leave. Men will never show up. And I had these writings in my subconscious, thoughts create things. And I almost repatterned it and repeated it. Sorry, I almost didn't repattern it, and I almost did repeat it with my twin flame Jack. And I share lots of videos. I've already talked about our separation, but I almost pushed away a really good man that was trustworthy. And he's absolutely, I trust him with my life, and I've given him many opportunities that he has saved my life. Yeah, I know he would. I love him. So grateful. Okay. All right. So quick second. It's like a little overwhelming to think about like the path that I could have gone on. And yes, our heart can get shattered, and it takes time to reopen it. And it's taken time slowly over the last decade of being with my partner to be as passionate and open as I was when I was blind in love with a counterfeit who was not there. So it's okay to have trust issues come up. The key is, are you finding solutions for them? And are you with the person that can help you find solutions, or are they too trapped in theirs? The divine masculine can have just difficulty expressing emotions, because emotions are a feminine quality. And so we need to teach our own masculine, how to emote. And as women, as mothers especially, it's important to be the space holders in the home from an early age, to teach the boys how to emote properly, how to express feelings, instead of saying, you're such a crybaby, instead being like, hey, that was really scary or sad, or how do you feel? I help my child identify her emotions. And it's been really great, because Jack's sitting there and he's like taking notes, because his inner boy was never taught that. And he's learning how to express himself in new ways that are so deep, so subtle. Shame, blame, judgment, anger, and avoidance. Heart blocks if a man has a heart block, he might have those symptoms: shame, blame, anger, and avoidance. You know what that looks like. That is a symptom of a broken heart or a blocked heart. And that comes out by him projecting his heart blocks onto you. So if you feel like a lot of heartbreak, if he's breaking your heart, his heart was broken by someone, maybe his mother, maybe a previous relationship, and he might be purging that heartbreak experience energetically into your heart chakra. And it's sitting there as a projection, and until you learn how to clear it and heal it, and also look at what is the match. Because when someone projects onto us, we don't match as a good blank. There's the slide projector, and then there's the white wall. If we don't have a matching pain, then we're not that white wall. It just like goes into space. There's like nothing there. But if we're like, hey, I'm a big white wall, project onto me, baby, it's because we have the heart block too. We have the matching energy. So that's where we want to clear our own heart blocks. So if you're going through a heartbreak, a severe heartbreak, a dark night of the soul, twin flame dark night of the soul, runner is abandoning you. There was definitely a heart block that was already unresolved, and it was an accident waiting to happen. And we got to look at, how can I avoid that again? How can I heal this heartbreak now? How can I heal my past back then? And how can I create a healthy heart in the future? So how do we solve it with our runner dude? Our divine masculine needs to step up in his divinity so he's here and move forward, not run away. No more poofs. In our own selves. It's an inside job. That's how we do it. And it's always a mirror. The cracks in ourself will show up in the mirror. And if we're seeing him running, if we're seeing him cheating, or if we're seeing him chasing, or seeing him playing hot and cold and on and off and runner chaser and telling stories and playing games, there's a part of our heart that's wanting to play games instead of being fully ready. And I know we don't consciously think that. I would never consciously think I wanted to be heartbroken, but it was the only way for my soul to say, wake up, Amanda. You've been holding an ancient heartbreak that is so big. It is the size of planet Venus, and it was broken millions of years ago, and you have not ever faced this. And all of a sudden I'm like Venus getting heartbroken by Mars, and this pain inside of me is so huge. It's beyond this world. And I do the healing work, and it takes me 5 years of severe pain, confusion, depression. It got less severe after about 2.5 years. It was pretty tolerable, and I had moments of even joy and happiness and connection. But it wasn't until really had breakthroughs with my coaches, with my counsel, with my guides, really fully going for it, and also literally becoming a twin flame alchemist. I was a love coach. I called myself Aphrodite's apprentice. That was when I fully committed to doing this work as a twin flame. I was like, I am not giving up. I'm not giving up on love. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And the guidance said to do this work for other people was the way I was going to learn. And I served, and I got good karma from it, because I was always good at helping the men I dated find their soulmates, helping the clients I dated, helping my friends, helping my facial clients. When I was going through grad school, I was giving facials. So it was good, because I knew that there was a mirror there was this ability for me to alchemize and heal and become a twin flame alchemist for myself, but I was doing it for others. And it wasn't until I worked with mentors to gain confidence and to feel good enough to have it for myself. So I do recommend working with a mentor, working with a guide. There are so many different things to do, but honestly, one of the fastest ways is to work with somebody who's already done it, who's been through the harrowing downs, through the difficulty. Also, really focusing on your self-care, self-love, and self-esteem. And I have a very powerful dedication, very deep dedication, devotion to the divine feminine healing arts. My life path my day starts at 6 a.m, meditating, doing my morning affirmations, doing my morning visualization, doing my morning meditation, doing my morning embodiment, yoga, movement, intuitive, divine feminine dance. Then I start my morning with my family, drinking sacred tea, turmeric, and I make my herbal brew with chrysanthemum and ginger and turmeric, or whatever it is of the day. This morning it was actually a sacred coffee and a little bit of cacao, and a little bit of pumpkin spices. Oh, so good. But I start with that warm beverage, and then we have breakfast overlooking our amazing balcony, which has the rice field 180 view of Ubud, Bali, my favorite twin flame temple where I married myself. I married myself just across the way on 11/11/11, and I met my husband almost 10 years ago. So the work really does work, healing ourselves. And I have an 11 phases of twin flame alchemy formula that I walk my soulmate clients, my students, and that I've walked myself through. That really is powerful and it works. And I won't share so much about it today, but I just wanted to let you know that there are people like myself that have gone through years and maybe even lifetimes of struggling, single, and heartbreak. Runners being like the thing, like, is this all I get this lifetime? To having an incredible life that I'm so grateful for, having the dreams come true. And so one of the ways that I have done this is by creating powerful rituals with other women. Working with mentors was very important, and also coupling that with divine feminine healing work. So that's why I found that sisterhood is such an important part of the twin flame path if we're a divine feminine. We have to heal the wounds, not only with our divine masculine, but it starts within ourselves. And to really feel safe to do that, having other sisters that can mirror us. And so what I'm doing is I'm building a divine feminine community of love leaders, women who care about the planet, who care about themselves, and who are here to resurrect the Venus codes, the goddess of love codes on this planet. Gaia has potential, but she is a little girl that is scared. She is a mama too, but just like the mamas in your twin flames mama, she has wounds, she has traumas, and she's been holding on to generations of humanity's suffering and pain, our ancestors. So the earth has all this ancestral pain, and you, perhaps listening to me now, are sent from the goddess of love. I like to call her Venus or Aphrodite, but you are encoded with a higher frequency of love than most people on this planet, which is why you're on a twin flame path, which is why you're watching this video to the end, and you're ready to make a difference. And sisterhood is the glue that sticks us together, whether you're in the Netherlands or you're in Bali here, or you're in Africa or Canada, or where I was born in California. I would love to weave you into this growing community. So for years, I've offered various free gatherings, and this is one of our first very low-cost paid gathering that's going to happen this month and every month moving in the future. We are moving into a membership model so that you can sign up for a year-long membership, or you can pay as you go. And there's membership options, 2 different membership options that will grant you access to a whole lot more value, where I'll be teaching you pieces of the formula that worked for me, where I'll be dripping out the 11 phases of twin flame alchemy, and also be sharing about, we'll be doing magic together. So I'm going to share the twin flame sacred love activation. We're creating a membership group for it. It's a community effort. It's going to be a thriving group of a highly curated group of women that have huge hearts, who are here to awaken the twin flame codes on this planet, that are here to bring about the divine masculine, to rise the men up, who are the knights in shining armor and not in armor, and not in pain and not in persecution. Like the old paradigm guys, it's done. It's not working anymore. But we got to build these new guys, ladies. We got to build the divine masculine, and it starts within ourselves. We're the birthers. We are the mothers. And if we don't support each other, we're going to be alone and empty, running on empty. So nourish your feminine energy. Come to this sacred love activation. The twin flame activation is happening on the full moon. It happens on the full moon, and you can click the link below to join a membership. Join the Lunar Love membership for a 50% off discount for limited time only until July 7th, 2023. I'm so excited to build a committed group of women, not just women who are kind of coming here and there, but those that are showing up every month and really creating a community, which is why we're creating a Telegram group for the mastermind. So click the link below, go to aphroditeuniversity.org/full-moon, And this is a spot to activate your heart, to clear out the father and mother wounds, to take that quantum leap forward. And we're doing it through monthly ritual live on the full moon. I'm so excited to have you as part of the group. So don't wait. A lot of women are like, oh, I'll just, get off the couch next time. Like, if you're not doing it now, if you went all the way through the video and you feel the call to have your heart open and you're ready to bring that sacred feminine energy, and you know that sisterhood is important because you can't have sister wounds and reject the feminine and not put the time into your twin flame relationship and expect for this like perfect guy to come and save you, or perfect divine masculine to show up for you. It starts by showing up for yourself. So take the action. If this resonates for you and you want support to birth yourself into the twin flame bride, then I would love to see you take action. All right, that's the wrap for this video. Thank you for being here. I bless you with all kinds of twin flame magic, and may you have your divine masculine that has your back, where you can ride on his back and explore life together and journey and be awesome. All right, follow and subscribe. I'll see you next time. I'll be taking one day off, and I'll be back on your Sunday in the US, my Monday. All right, namaste, namasko. Bye for now.